faithfully delivering value, interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, the book we're interpreting for you is Competing Against Luck, with the subtitle On Innovation and User Choice. When you go to the supermarket to buy chips, do you find that just one brand has a whole wall of flavors for you to choose from? As for which one to pick specifically, you might experience choice overload, and the final decision depends on your mood at the moment. Chip manufacturers anticipate this situation, which is why they produce so many flavors, hoping that one will match consumers' preferences. This is how many companies approach innovation. So this is the program if, when launching their products, they can't accurately predict users' preferences and choices, so they cast a wide net. They try to create as many products as possible that they consider innovative, hoping that users will like at least one of them. This approach means businesses leave the possibility of success to luck, hoping that in the net they cast, they can always catch a fish, competing against luck. Competition means businesses no longer leave success to luck, but instead find the root cause of user consumption and launch products or services users want. In the author Clayton Christensen's words, it's about finding the job to be done. Christensen is a professor at Harvard Business School and a highly influential management scholar. He has twice received major awards in the management field. The McKinsey Award, he has two seminal works, The Innovator's Dilemma and The Innovator's Solution. Sally's Book Talk has previously interpreted The Innovator's Dilemma. In these two books, Christensen proposed the disruptive innovation theory, systematically analyzing which innovations pose threats to businesses and how managers should respond. But the disruptive innovation theory doesn't solve where to find such innovations or what products and services users will definitely buy. Today's book, Competing Against Luck, is the answer the author gives after 20 years of reflection. The author proposes a theory called the job to be done. That is, first figure out what task the user wants to accomplish with a product, then businesses create tailored solutions to help users complete that task. The author believes this theory can truly help businesses overcome the innovation dilemma and find the path for innovation. Now, I'll interpret this task theory through four aspects. First, what is the job to be done? Second, how to find the job to be done. Third, how to create the perfect solution to handle the job. Fourth, how to build a job-centric organization. Let's start with the first aspect. What is the job to be done? The author defines the job to be done as users purchase and use products and services to accomplish tasks that arise in their lives. How should we understand this definition? Listen to this example and you'll understand. Now, there was a milkshake shop struggling to increase sales. The owner tried many approaches, surveying customers' age, gender, occupation, asking preferences like bigger chocolate chunks or more fruit pieces. They also experimented with price adjustments, hoping lower prices would boost business. But none of these measures worked. Milkshake sales didn't improve noticeably. After being consulted, the author applied his job theory and asked, why do consumers buy milkshakes? Through detailed research, the author discovered two peak sales periods. The first period was before 9 a.m., mostly office workers buying milkshakes. The second period was after 4 p.m., mainly parents with school children, where the children consumed while parents rarely ordered. The author further interviewed consumers from both periods to understand their reasons for buying milkshakes. He discovered commonalities. Morning buyers typically commuted 30 to 60 minutes to work. Most found this drive boring and needed something to occupy themselves. When buying milkshakes around 8 a.m., they weren't actually hungry, but knew they'd be starving by 10 a.m. if they ate nothing. Growling. Afternoon buyers were usually children picked up from school by family. During the ride, they'd request toys or snacks, often refused, making milkshakes a compromise solution. The author then asked them what kind of milkshake they wanted the shop to provide. Office workers told the author they wanted an extra large, thick milkshake so they could sip it through a thin straw while driving, finishing it by the time they reached the office. with their stomachs full. Um, uh, Parents with children told the author they wanted the milkshake portions halved because children would have dinner soon after getting home, and too much milkshake would ruin their appetite. Additionally, they wanted less chocolate and more fruit in the milkshake to make it healthier for their kids. Uh, Finally, based on the job consumers wanted to accomplish, the author advised the milkshake shop to offer extra large cups with chocolate, nuts, fruits, and more for office workers before 9 a.m., and mini cups with everything halved for kids after 4 p.m. From these cases, we see that applying the job theory offers businesses at least two major benefits. First, uncovering the causality behind consumer purchases, understanding what causes what. Why didn't the milkshake shop surveys on age, gender, occupation preferences, or price reductions solve the problem? Because none of these were the real reasons consumers bought milkshakes. Many companies today create customer profiles, collect big data, and find correlations between customer characteristics and purchases. But the author believes such correlations are meaningless. The author gave his own example. He's 64, 2.03 meters tall. His kids are in college, he lives in the suburbs and drives a Toyota. He also frequently buys the New York Times. Is that because he's older and loves newspapers? Or because he lives in a large suburban house with good financial means? The author believes neither. His newspaper purchases depend on his immediate needs. For example, when waiting at the doctor's office, he needs to kill time but doesn't want to read the boring magazines. In the waiting room, or as a basketball fan, if there's a game, he'll buy a paper to follow the progress. Correlation doesn't equal causation. Only by finding what causes what can we accurately identify consumer needs. Once needs are identified, the second benefit emerges. Businesses can find their true competitors. The audience can find their true competitors. The author mentions a beverage called V8, which contains 8 vegetable juices, hence the name. Market competition has always been fierce. There are established carbonated drinks, plus new entrants like modern beverages, sugar-free drinks, sports drinks, etc. So how can V8 break through? Using the job theory, V8's brand manager realized their job wasn't, I need a drink to quench thirst or boost energy, but vegetables are healthy. But I dislike vegetables or lack time to cook them, so I need a vegetable substitute. Meaning V8's real competitors aren't beverages, but vegetables themselves. Competing against drinks is hard, but competing against celery, which many dislike, is easier. After clarifying competitors, V8 adjusted its messaging. Drink 1 V8 daily to get your vegetables. Within a year, V8 sales quadrupled. By identifying true competitors, V8 eliminated pseudo-rivals and captured exclusive consumer demand. That concludes part 1. We've defined the job to be done. Users buy products and services to accomplish life tasks. Understanding this brings 2 major benefits. First, uncovering causality behind purchases to accurately understand consumer needs. Second, identifying true competitors to eliminate pseudo-rivals and capture market opportunities. Now that we understand what job needs accomplishing, let's move to part 2. How to find the job to be done. Where should managers start? I've distilled the author's advice into 2 principles. First, mind for jobs in daily life. The author suggests looking not to complex fields, but directly at lived experiences. Because you know your life best. If something matters to you, it likely matters to others. Your solution will then benefit countless others. Many startups begin when founders personally need to accomplish a life task. For example, the online reservation platform OpenTable in the US was born out of solving people's inconveniences. Typically, if you want to make a reservation in advance, you have to call the restaurant. And suppose you're inviting 2 friends for dinner and you've agreed on Saturday at 7 p.m. So you call your chosen restaurant, but the restaurant tells you all tables are full at 7. Either change to 8 p.m. or pick another place. Now you have to reschedule with friends or find another preferred restaurant. Open Table solved this back and forth hassle for diners. By logging onto the platform, people can see real-time availability at partner restaurants, making it easy to discuss options with friends. But starting from life experience isn't enough. The author believes discovering jobs also requires fully considering emotional and social factors. This is the second principle. The author argues that functional, emotional, and social dimensions are equally essential for products. While functionality matters, user emotions can be the deciding factor in choosing a product. Why is that? Let's look at an example. Around 2000, P&G tried introducing its Pampers diapers to China, then a completely untapped market. Pampers had already proven successful in the US market. To appeal to Chinese consumers, P&G launched a more affordable line, but sales remained sluggish. P&G conducted extensive research but still couldn't crack what motivated purchases. Until one survey participant shared, she and her husband were thrilled with the product. Her response was revealing. She called it her happiest week since giving birth. Her husband also considered it their most worthwhile few dollars spent. Turned out, with diapers, their baby slept through the night without crying, giving them uninterrupted, intimate time. Only then did P&G realize they'd focus solely on functional benefits while overlooking emotional and social needs. As this woman reported, improving the couple's emotional relationship is also one of the tasks accomplished by diapers. This task continuously attracts this woman to buy diapers. So P&G immediately adjusted their marketing direction. In their product ads, they showcased babies sleeping peacefully at night, bringing rest and alone time to parents, and linked children's consistent sleep to cognitive development, telling parents better sleep leads to better cognitive growth. After P&G fully highlighted the emotional and social benefits, sales increased. By 2013, P&G's Pampers diapers achieved a 30% market share in China. The author suggests observing and considering the emotional and social factors of non-users. You'll discover more opportunities. For example, why aren't adult diapers selling well? Clearly, market demand is high, but buying adult diapers brings shame and anxiety. After discovering this emotional factor, Kimberly-Clark redesigned their adult diapers to look like regular underwear while functionally solving incontinence. These underwear-style care products became hugely popular after launch. In summary, when searching for the job to be done, broadening your perspective is crucial. If you change how you view the world, you might uncover growth opportunities in impossible-seeming areas. Okay, that concludes part 2. How to find the job to be done. First, mine for jobs from daily life. Because you know your life best, tasks important to you may be equally important to others.
Second, fully consider emotional and social factors, placing them on par with functionality. After finding the job, create a complete solution.
This is also the third aspect of the book. A complete solution must include 2 points. First, your core product or service. Second, a meticulously designed purchase and usage experience. Both are indispensable. The first point is easy to understand. Good products and services are essential. For example, in the US, a doll called American Girl has a status unchallenged by Toys R Us, Walmart, or Disney. What's its appeal? Each doll has a specific story. These stories strictly follow historical facts with detailed life contexts. For example, one doll represents a girl from a Native American tribe in the late 18th century Northwest. Her background story showcases leadership, compassion, courage, and loyalty. Another doll is a Swiss immigrant living in Minnesota. Facing hardships and challenges, she ultimately triumphs. Compared to dolls just for dress-up play, these story-driven dolls resonate with children and parents while inspiring kids to gain courage and overcome difficulties. Having great products isn't enough in this vast market with many competitors. Copying similar products is easy. What truly makes companies competitive is, second, the meticulously designed purchase and usage experience. For example, American Girl's services include a doll hospital, that detangles hair or repairs broken parts, preventing minor damage from ruining toys. Their stores also have restaurants, turning toy shopping into a full-day family experience. Creating a complete solution means designing experiences around the product. Great experiences drive repeat purchases and premium pricing. IKEA exemplifies this. Competitors can copy products or layouts, but not its consumer experience. If you need a bookshelf tomorrow, others take 30 days. IKEA's flat pack fits in your trunk for immediate assembly. When furniture shopping with a toddler at other stores, you might resort to phone cartoons, but IKEA's play area gives you an hour of free shopping. Comparatively, IKEA isn't the highest quality or cheapest, but its overall experience wins consumer preference after evaluation. And that's why IKEA remains among the world's most profitable companies. The common thread in these cases is telling us that businesses must enhance consumer experiences, saying, "Stop wasting effort searching. Use me and your task is done." That concludes part 3, creating complete solutions for the job, product plus experience. Only by crafting suitable, wonderful experiences around products can we drive repeat purchases after discovering the job and building solutions around it. To truly make businesses invincible, we must build job-centric organizations. That's part 4. In the first 2 parts, I've introduced these concepts. Businesses should comprehensively gather user needs and create complete solutions covering both product and experience.
But for a job-centric business, this is only step 1.
Next, we must integrate the job into workflows, formalize it into systems, and elevate it to corporate culture. Now let's detail these steps, starting with establishing formal job-oriented processes. Competitively, a business's edge is its product, but behind it lies unique processes, solving hundreds of micro problems, making replication hard. Take General Motors. OnStar is their remote vehicle diagnostic system. If drivers have accidents, this system alerts authorities and calls emergency services. The OnStar system also enables remote communication for drivers. Initially deployed in luxury models like Cadillac, GM discovered universal high safety demand across all vehicles. Thus, GM decided to extend OnStar to all models. To achieve this, GM built an end-to-end process from production to sales. Production side, ensuring OnStar compatibility with every component across all GM models.
So GM had OnStar and testing teams collaborate on specialized testing programs.
Ryan D. Wise. Cars have 10-year cycles, but tech products shorter lifespans, so OnStar continuously updates to keep all models current.
On the sales front, both internal sales staff and external customers were unfamiliar with OnStar, so GM adjusted their sales strategy. First, they had the OnStar team personally answer consumer questions at dealerships, like how to use the service and whether the car could always be accurately located. Then they trained the sales team professionally and increased commissions for selling OnStar products. From testing to R&D to sales, GM shaped a process centered around the task of ensuring user safety.
Various departments coordinated and interacted to systematically create the OnStar vehicle system, resulting in few competitors for OnStar.
Ford once announced in 2000 a joint venture with Qualcomm to create a vehicle communication service system and challenge OnStar. However, this project wasn't completed. 2 years later, Ford terminated this project. Professor Edgar Schein from MIT once said that processes are a crucial part of an organization's tacit culture. A job-centered process conveys a message to consumers. This is what we value most. This most valued aspect forms the core of corporate product innovation and becomes the company's core competitiveness. With processes, evaluation is essential. Evaluation and optimization turn processes into systems. Without evaluation, companies can't know how well products and services perform. Only with proper evaluation standards can companies solidify the details and processes and ultimately form a set of systems. Take Amazon, the online retail giant, as an example. Fast delivery has always been a key factor in how Amazon handles consumer tasks. To ensure all processes serve this ultimate goal well, Amazon conducts evaluations and monitoring every minute. For example, users see delivery time guarantees on the product purchase page. When users submit their orders, Amazon starts evaluating and monitoring whether the warehousing and delivery processes can fulfill commitments. For instance, how quickly orders are transmitted to the warehouse, how long it takes to pick and pack goods, and when delivery drivers pick up packages, how delivery routes are planned, and whether end users receive goods on time. This is called monitoring. Through continuous evaluation, companies can know if what they're doing is effective, if they've deviated, and where improvements are needed. After establishing systems, the final step is elevating them to a cultural level, achieving company-wide self-management. When companies consistently reinforce through systems that solving user problems is paramount, employees receive clear direction. Knowing their ultimate purpose, they don't need specific instructions to make correct decisions. Corporate systems thus evolve into corporate culture, creating a self-managed organization. For example, a U.S. tax preparation company maintains internal startup teams. These teams autonomously develop product prototypes based on user feedback. They don't wait for multi-layer approvals before taking action. This approach empowers all employees to make job-centered decisions with self-management and innovation capabilities. All right, that concludes part 4. To achieve innovation and make products hard to imitate, build a job-centric organization. Beyond comprehensive user research and complete solutions, companies need 3 key steps. 1. Establish job-oriented processes. 2. Evaluate and optimize processes into systems. 3. Elevate systems to cultural values. Second, evaluate and optimize processes to institutionalize them. Third, elevate systems to cultural values. Amidst today's glorification of big data and product thinking, the author refocuses innovation on deep user understanding. This shifts product innovation from luck-dependent uncertainty to need-solving certainty. Good luck isn't reliable. If businesses solve user problems effectively, they won't need luck. Users will naturally align with them, competing against luck. That concludes our interpretation.
Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.